The FBI has been involved in some seriously intense situations throughout history, and while most of it is to maintain safety and order, there have been moments where certain actions could be considered ethically questionable, to say the least. So buckle up, because we're about to uncover some jaw-dropping stories where the pursuit of the greater good took some seriously dark turns. My name is AJ Spatola with Most Amazing, and these are the top 10 disturbing things evil people did for the FBI. At number 10 is MK Ultra. The breadth of Project MK Ultra's unsettling experience is both shocking and troubling. Spanning 2 decades, this clandestine initiative, run by the CIA from 1953 to 1973, delved into manipulating behavior by employing an array of disturbing methods. The program collaborated with 80 institutions and 185 private researchers, embarking on a quest to understand the manipulation of human behavior through the use of biological, chemical, and radiological agents. One of the substances used, known for its mind-altering effects, was a primary tool used in the attempt to alter loyalties, essentially turning individuals into unwitting spies. Disturbingly, the administration of this substance extended to various groups, being prisoners, mental patients, workers of the night, and addicts, specifically targeting those who were unable to resist or fight back. Some individuals endured prolonged exposure to this substance, like a mental patient subjected to the substance for a staggering 174 consecutive days. Even unsuspecting patrons of places of the night were slipped this substance, observed behind two-way mirrors for research purposes, as embarrassment endured their silence. Tragically, fatalities were not uncommon, with at least one person losing their life during these experiments. The experiments weren't limited to this hallucinogen alone. A whole breadth of substances were also utilized, expanding the realm of unethical and invasive practices. Additionally, MK Ultra explored substance-induced hypnosis, sleep deprivation, and the contemplation of using sprays and aerosols for potential assassination methods, highlighting the deeply unsettling extents to which they were willing to go in the pursuit of control and manipulation. The impact and ethical ramifications of such unchecked experimentation on unsuspecting individuals remain a dark chapter in history, raising profound questions about the responsibilities and ethics of scientific research. At number 9 is Charles Manson. The link between Charles Manson and the clandestine CIA project MK Ultra continues to be a subject of immense intrigue and speculation. See, Charles Manson, whose upbringing was fraught with neglect, found himself repeatedly entangled within the legal system. Despite this, his magnetic charisma drew individuals towards him, forming the notorious Manson family, known for the ghastly unalivings of 1969. In parallel, MK Ultra, the covert CIA initiative, explored mind control and interrogation methods using psychotropic substances and experimental techniques on unsuspecting subjects, both human and animal. The eerie connection arises from conspiracy theories suggesting that Manson may have been a product of MK Ultra experimentation. These theories suppose that his history of substance use and criminal associations made him a prime candidate for the CIA's mind control programs. Some suggest that the Manson family's gruesome acts could have been a result of manipulation and control by external forces, aligning with a larger, more sinister scheme orchestrated by the government to induce societal unrest and destabilization. The alleged plan, veiled in secrecy, adds a chilling layer to the already horrifying Manson saga, implying a deeper, more disturbing layer of government involvement in these tragic events. Now, what's more unsettling is the fact that Manson was released by his parole officer multiple times after being caught, giving him the freedom to continue his spree, which makes you really wonder about the system in place. A real-life horror story that leaves you with a lot of questions about ethics, control, and the consequences of such action. If you're enjoying the video so far, please support the channel by pressing like, subscribing to Most Amazing, and ringing that notification bell. At number 8, misusing the Patriot Act. The disclosure about the FBI's utilization of the Patriot Act, particularly through its business records provision for the comprehensive tracking of all U.S. phone calls, is just a visible part of a more substantial issue. 5 separate audits conducted by the Justice Department's Inspector General have shed light on the extensive and recurrent misuse of the Patriot Act's authorities by the FBI. This misuse isn't just an isolated incident, but rather part of an unsettling pattern. The FBI's deployment of extinguishing letters falsely claiming emergencies to obtain private information without the necessary legal sanction has raised significant concerns. Even after the Justice Department reinterpreted the laws in 2009, enabling the FBI to access information without meeting emergency criteria or undergoing due to legal processes, it continues to be a cause for serious concern. The inclusion of the National Security Leather Statute with its unconstitutional gag orders adds yet another layer to the complexity. A comprehensive understanding of the full scope of FBI surveillance on Americans, not limited to just the Patriot Act but encompassing other post-September 11th surveillance laws such as the FISA Amendments Act, is vital for both Congress and the general public. At number 7 is WikiLeaks, Julian Assange. According to reports, senior CIA officials were considering some extreme measures against Assange, the founder of WikiLeaks. They were discussing things like kidnapping and even assassinating him. Why? Well, it all stemmed from WikiLeaks publishing the Vault 7 materials, a big deal for the CIA as it revealed their hacking tools. The CIA leadership, particularly Mike Pompeo, was apparently really upset about this leak. They felt embarrassed and furious, leading them to discuss more alarming actions against Assange. This included requesting options for unaliving or abduction. Now imagine these talks were about a civilian leaked to leak documents, not terrorism. Crazy, right? Assange, who sought asylum in the Ecuadorian embassy to avoid extradition, eventually got arrested in 2019 and is fighting extradition to the US, facing serious charges under the Espionage Act. That act's use in this case raised concerns among human rights groups, suggesting its potential use against investigative journalists. The whole situation is pretty intense and raises questions about press freedom and government accountability. The outcome of these legal battles is something many people are keeping an eye on, but the mere idea of using extreme actions like kidnapping or assassination against someone for publishing information, well, it's certainly unsettling and brings up some significant ethical issues. At number 6, 2008's amendments to the Attorney General's guidelines. Ever wondered about the extent of power vested in the government bodies for probing into people's lives? Well, back in 2008, the FBI went through a major transformation. The Attorney General spearheaded a revamp enabling FBI agents to delve into individuals or groups without any solid suspicion of wrongdoing. They introduced a new approach called assessment. This method didn't require any concrete evidence before launching an intrusive investigation. It permitted agents to scour databases, conduct overt or covert interviews, and dispatch informants without factual basis of suspicion. Surprisingly, over 82,000 of these assessments were carried out in just 2 years. However, a minuscule fraction, less than 3,500, actually revealed anything worth further investigation. At number 5 is unrestrained data collection and data mining. The FBI's clandestine actions, despite aiming for national security, have raised numerous concerns due to their massive data mining practice. In 2007, they boasted a staggering 1.5 billion records in their databases, with projections to swell to a jaw-dropping 6 billion by 2012. That's akin to having 20 records for every single person in the US. When Congress attempted to get insights into these programs, the FBI refused, denying the Government Accountability Office access. Although one such initiative got temporarily defunded, its successor, the FBI Foreign Terrorist Attacking Task Force, stands strong. These teams utilize data mining tools to assign risk scores to American citizens, a practice that's not without controversy. At number 4 is thwarting congressional oversight. The FBI, which is supposed to be the agency tasked with upholding law and protecting citizens, has pulled off some seriously sketchy moves when it comes to dealing with Congress. Instead of being an open book, they've resorted to withholding information, delaying responses, and even going as far as feeding Congress and the public misleading or false details. This whole charade includes providing incorrect information about investigations on domestic advocacy groups, pretending to be ignorant about detainee mistreatment, and giving vague or deceptive responses about their authority for government surveillance. See, the thing is, these actions not only erode trust, but also raise serious concerns about what else might be lurking in the shadows. And number 3 is targeting the First Amendment activity. The FBI was found to have investigated and surveilled groups for exercising their rights under the First Amendment. It's been uncovered that they inappropriately probed advocacy groups, which involve things like environmental and anti-war activism, and even went as far as altering public responses to conceal these investigations. Moreover, the use of community outreach initiatives to gather information on law law-abiding citizens, particularly American Muslims, is deeply concerning. What's at the core of this issue seems to be flawed training materials and intelligence that inaccurately linked regular religious practices and constitutionally protected activities to potential terrorism. The blurring of lines between protecting the nation and impeding individual rights is a serious matter that calls for scrutiny and reevaluation. At number 2 is the detention of American citizens by foreign governments. Amir Mehal's ordeal is a prime example. He was arrested in the Kenya border by a joint task force, spent more than 4 months detained in East African countries without any charges or access to legal counsel, all supposedly at the request of the US government. What's startling is that during this period, the FBI interrogated Marshall more than 30 times. Then there's Naji Hedman, a Lebanese-American businessman who, after multiple interviews with the FBI, found himself detained in the United Arab Emirates. During his confinement, he was reportedly mistreated and tortured. There are even claims of American participants in his interrogation, leading Hedman to suspect involvement of an FBI agent. These occurrences pose serious questions about the extent of FBI actions beyond the nation's borders and their impact on rights and safety of American citizens. And at number 1 is the war on whistleblowers. The FBI possesses a clandestine side that's rather disconcerting, particularly regarding internal dissent. When you think of laws protecting whistleblowers, you'd expect the FBI to comply, right? Surprisingly, it's exempt from the Whistleblower Protection Act. This lack of coverage has birthed a history of retribution against those who speak out. In a startling revelation, a 2009 Inspector General's report disclosed that a significant percentage of FBI employees across various levels opted to stay silent about the misconduct they witnessed. What's even more chilling is that the Bureau's aggressive pursuit of whistleblowers from other agencies, resulting in a dramatic upswing in the Espionage Act and prosecutions during the Obama administration. The targets are critics of government policies. In an ironic twist, an agency tasked with upholding justice seemingly suppresses its own truth-bearers, casting shadows over the concept of transparency and accountability. More alarming is the Bureau's zealous pursuit of whistleblowers from other agencies, a move that signifies a crackdown on criticisms of government policy. This relentless approach trickles down to an unsettling trend of investigating journalists, disrupting the freedom of the press. Cases involving FBI's requisitioning of Associated Press and Fox News' journalist records, as well as the unlawful acquisition of New York Times and Washington Post reporters' phone records, illustrate a distressing overreach. These actions not only raise questions about press liberties, but also emphasize the lengths the FBI might go to maintain dominance and control over information. As always, if there's a disturbing FBI controversy you think I've missed, let me know down in the comments. This has been AJ with Most Amazing, and I'll catch you all in another video.